Happy Sunday, everybody. I won't drag this video on for too long because it's quite late and I'm very tired. But working in silence, something that I struggled with a lot when I was younger, wanting the world to kind of see what I've created. Um, at that time, it was kind of like the physique I was building and like showing how hard I worked by, telling others how much I'd be training and all that kind of stuff. And um, it was partly because I was, insecure and try to make myself, feel better by, kind of in a way showing off. And I ultimately didn't realize that I was just kind of like wasting time, but also perceiving myself as a talker because some of the stuff I would say of like what I was gonna do didn't actually happen, and in the end, I made a fool of myself, um, and it kind of like stunted a, my reputation a little bit, and obviously, like reputation doesn't matter when you're, at in high school, but you know, I'm just like kind of providing like an example. But anyhow, working in silence is something that a lot of people, can't bear to do because they're so used to being the person who's always kind of like showing off and showing to the world literally all their activities, whether it be like on social media or when they're talking to people and telling them literally every single detail of their life. Newsflash, most people, unless you're like, incredibly successful and all those other kinds of all those other kinds of things, unless you've like done that, nobody cares. Genuinely, no one cares. I thought that whenever I would do whatever I was doing, I can't really think of any kind of examples at the top of my head, but whatever I was thinking, I thought that everybody, thought it was sick and whatever, but I didn't realize that no one cared. No one cared. And it's the same thing when someone else is trying to like show off something to you and you don't care about them. It's the same thing with you. So, but people still try and chase that kind of validation of like, oh, I need to look good for the world and they got to see what I'm doing and all that kind of stuff. Nah, stop that. Genuinely, you're wasting your time. And not only are you wasting your time, you're wasting your energy. That energy could have been, used for something way more productive. And you could have, just spent time locked in on your thing and not have to worry about, all these different external factors. And plus, you don't need the world to know what you're doing. You don't need a bunch of people to be, by your side. It's fine to. If anything, it can actually be a good thing because you have less people to criticize you when you fail. It's like almost like a casual thing. No one even knows that you are failing, but you're also improving at the same time. And people won't even know about it. And by the time you're kind of like just gradually increasing, gradually progressing and progressing and progressing and progressing. It will already be so noticeable that people won't even see like kind of the failures, and you won't even have to kind of chase anything. It all kind of comes to you. And yeah, a lot of this kind of stuff is all just distractions. And that's why working in silence is so great. You're just kind of in your zone. You're locked in your kind of, you're locked in your kind of box in a sense of like work. And you're just, going full throttle without any kind of roadblocks. And you kind of not having to, you know, look to the left, look to the right kind of thing. Just going full throttle, full tunnel vision. And yeah, hope you enjoyed that video and have a great